In other news going forward, um, I reported that Cash Out, Atlanta rapper, had that song right around with that Nina. Now he got witnessed by subpoena. So, he was facing hold on, y'all. I'm trying to order this. So, I thought the clip that I was watching was only like a couple days old or whatever and shit, but this shit went quick, bro. He was found guilty and everything already. So we have footage, like it's an hour-long stream or whatever of court, like the whole proceeding. He got like impact statements and all of this shit being read. The defendants got up and addressed the court and all of that. Maybe I'll run some content on that later or whatever and shit, but it's like a lot of time. I really want to get into the time handed out by the judge or whatever and shit, like final sentencing. So this is what we on. Hold on. Oh yeah, it should be.
This hand. You ready? Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, during the course of this trial, the court heard and viewed evidence demonstrating the very worst of human behavior toward other human beings. The jury verdict in this case reflects that the state met its burden in proving beyond a reasonable doubt that the diabolical conduct of the defendants occurred. The sentencing to be meted out by this court will be responsive to that. Mr. John Michael Hakeem Gibson, would you please stand? Okay. On count one, violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 10. On count 10, rape, life in confinement. Count 12, aggravated sodomy, life in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 22, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 1. Count 23, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 22. Count 24, on the lesser included offense of battery, 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 25, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, 5 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 23. Count 26, pimping, 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 27, pandering, 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 28, keeping.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it keep going, of course, but I'm not gonna lie to you, my nigga. Like, all that 12-month shit and everything, once you start telling me the 20 year, the life and all that shit, you ain't gotta tell me the rest of that shit. Like, yo, that shit be wild. Like, you just, like, I get it. Like, you just gotta sit there and just go, it's due process. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. But, Jesus.
A place of prostitution, 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 29, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 10. Count 30.
Okay, so he got some of the shit concurrent and he got some of the shit consecutive. I'm following.
Simple battery merges into count 24, battery. Count 45, possession of prohibited items by an inmate, 5 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 25. Conditions of this sentence: no contact with any of the victims named in the indictment, to include Diamond Urban or their families. You are to register as a sex offender. You are to stay away from 737 Alfred Road in Atlanta. You are to stay away from the Mezzo condominium, 2171 Peachtree. You are to stay away from the St. George's Commons address, and you are to stay away from the Fulton Industrial Boulevard corridor. All right, you may be seated.
So, yo, like, I guess it's just, like I said, this is all a formality. But to tell me the conditions of a fucking restraining order when I'm about to be doing life plus 70 years, because that's what it all added up to, I believe. Yeah, John Michael Hakeem Gibson, known as the rapper Cash Out, was sentenced to life in prison plus an additional 70 years on Monday, July 21st, 2025. You know what I'm saying? He was found guilty of racketeering, rape, and sex trafficking charges in connection with allegedly operating a prostitution enterprise. Yeah, so whoa, boy, they loaded him up, bro. But I ain't gonna lie, the nigga held his composure. Like, he was super calm. You know what I mean? His mama sitting right next to him or whatever and shit. She was, you know, like that's her baby, my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? She watching that nigga get slammed. Mama got to get sent too, and the other Taylor nigga.
All right, Ms. Smith and counsel, please stand. As to count 1, violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 20 years to serve in confinement. Count 37, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 10 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive to count 1.
All right, now watch this shit, right? That trafficking or whatever, and even though it's like then, but it's like transportation, because like I believe the maximum penalty is 10 years, or the minimum might be 10 years, but it's kind of along the lines of what Diddy was accused of, except for the fact that Diddy was on the John end of it. That's why they're having such a hard time trying to figure out how to sentence that nigga. You know what I mean? And like the judge has asked the lawyers to basically find a case where a John was actually convicted federally for transportation to engage in prostitution. On this end, they were actually found guilty of being, you know, the purveyors and shit. You know what I mean? The niggas who basically was sending the chick out the door, or the chicks out the door. You know what I mean, to get that bread. But yeah, so damn, she got hit with that. So she had 30 so far.
You're to have no contact with any of the victims, including Diamond Irvin, named in this indictment, or their families. You are to register as a sex offender. You are to stay away from 737 Alfred Road, the Mezzo at 2171 Peachtree Road, the address at the St. George's Commons, 9340, and the FIB, Fulton Industrial Boulevard corridor. You may be seated. All right, Mr. Taylor. On count 1, violation of the Georgia RICO Act.
So Mama got 30. I was trying to find out how old she was exactly. But I couldn't, I don't know, I couldn't pull it up. But let's just say this, right? She gotta be at least 50. Right? So 30-year sentence is light for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? She gonna be 80, you know what I mean? Like 70 something maybe. I don't know how much time you gotta do in Georgia shit, but boy, this shit wow.
20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 9. Count 9 rape, life in confinement. Count 11 aggravated sodomy, life in confinement to run concurrent with count 9. Count 13, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 1. Count 15, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 13. Count 16, false imprisonment, 10 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 15. Count 17, pandering by compulsion, 10 years to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 9. Count 18, possession of cocaine, 3 years to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 9. Count 19, tampering with evidence, 12 months to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 9. Count 20, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer by use of threats or violence, 10 years to serve to run concurrent with count 9 and a suspended fine of $300. You are to have no contact with any of the victims.
Damn, what the fuck? Yo, they cooked him like this shit. This shit crazy. The fuck he get?
Named in the indictment, nor are you to have any contact with Diamond or Urban or any of their families. You are to stay away from the Fulton Industrial Boulevard corridor. You are to stay away from 737 Alfred Road in Atlanta. You are to stay away from the Mezzo address at 2171 Peachtree Road and the address at the St. George Commons, 9340. You register as a sex offender. And that is the sentence of this court. You may be seated. Mr.
Okay, so the judge just handed out as follows. Cash out. Let me bring myself up. So, like I said, the judge has handed out the sentences as follows. Cash out got life plus 70 years. His mama got 30. And the dude whose last name is Taylor, the last dude that we just watched get sentenced, he got life plus 94 years. So, like, the niggas is cooked. The mama might as well have gotten the life sentence. She gonna get out at 80. You know what I'm saying? If she make it. You feel me? It's crazy, bro. I was definitely late on this case or whatever. I don't know, like, all of the specifics, but I'll definitely be doing a deeper dive on this or whatever, and, you know, getting all the facts and everything like that. But yeah, bro, gonna finish this out, see what she said last, but yeah, that's what it is, bro. Cash out got life plus 70, mama got 30, and the other dude, he get life plus 94. So all of them got to register as sex offenders, all found guilty on RICO, etc. So yeah, this shit crazy, bro. Chain gang.
Gibson, Ms. Smith, and Mr. Taylor, I have to give you some post-conviction rights that you have, all right? You may remain seated while I give you these rights, okay? You need to know that you have the right to seek post-judgment relief from your convictions, the crimes, by either making a motion for a new trial in this court and or filing an appeal to a higher appellate court. If you wish to file a motion for a new trial or an appeal, then you will need to file the said motion or notice of appeal with the clerk of the Superior Court of this county within 30 days of the judgment from jury verdict, the final disposition. You may wish to more fully discuss this with your lawyers. If a motion for new trial is made and the court denies it, you will have 30 days from the filing of the order of denial in which to file with the clerk of this court your notice of appeal. You have a right to have a lawyer represent you on the motion for new trial and the first level of direct appellate review. And if you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, the court will provide you a lawyer and a transcript of your trial at no cost. With respect to felony convictions, you usually have a period of 4 years from the date that your sentence in this court becomes final to file what is known as a habeas corpus petition. On any misdemeanors?
So yeah, she's basically breaking down their right to appeal the verdict or whatever. Because when you go to trial and you face a jury, normally when you cop out and take a plea, which his lawyer has spoken of, because I believe the lawyer said in the beginning that they offered him 25 years. You understand? And he wanted to have his day in court, and I guess he wanted to keep his options open for appeal. But damn, that was some dice to roll, my nigga. I mean, you got damn near triple that just off of what they gave you on the back end of the life sentence. You know what I mean? How old did the rapper Cash Out?
34 years old.
34 years old. So if he did 25, 39, he would have been out at 59 years old, like about 60, right? Yeah, you're old. That's a lot of time. But it ain't life, my nigga. It ain't you sitting in that bitch thinking, nigga, I gotta die in this bitch and do another 70 before like I could think. And I mean, it's not even humanly possible. But like that's the whole thing. It's a death sentence. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know all the particulars or like how to gauge it. I don't really know like what the witness testimony was to really size up how the case, you know what I mean, or what was really going on. But of course, you know, the courts and the legal system, they're gonna make their assumption of guilt based on like, you know, law. Like I'm saying as far as the street go, like we all know pimping is a part of the street. That shit been around longer than drug dealing and all that, right? So the game is by choice, not force. You get what I mean? So if a girl is already out there, she active in the game, and she decides that she chews up on a nigga, and you know they're gonna get this money or whatever, and you know have this partnership. That's one thing, right? Because that's just now if they get found guilty or whatever, like they get caught and shit, you know it's against the law, so you know gotta do the time, right? But if you're actually like kidnapping people, keeping them away from their family, forcing them to do shit that they don't want to do, like you're a real scumbag, bro. Like that ain't no Pete. You know what I'm saying? So you know that's the whole thing. You know what I mean with that. So I don't know if he was on some straight gorilla type shit, or you know if this is a situation where maybe the girls caught cases and then they just told on, you know, told on their pimp rather than like get caught up in due time and everything. Because when I was skipping through this or whatever to find the actual sentencing part, You know, the girl talking about, you know, she was trying to get her daughter back and all this other stuff. So it's a lot going on with this, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what's going on with this shit. But basically, they're more than likely gonna file an appeal. I'm more than 100%. You know what I mean? Nobody really take that type of time laying down.
You have a period of 1 year from the date your sentence in this court becomes final to file a habeas corpus petition. All right? And with that, they may be taken back.
Well, nothing else to say about that, boy. Like, you know what I mean? He got cooked. They all did. You know? Like I said, man, shout out to them. Best of luck to them. Yeah, shit, crashed out. Crashed out. And you know, it's crazy because I started talking about this. This is not the year for the cash outs. Doughboys cash out. Be careful out there, man. You know what I'm saying? This is not the year for the cash out. They trying to put a seat behind. They trying to put an R behind that seat.